If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contacts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Ditch overpriced wireless and their jaw-dropping bills, unexpected overages, and hidden fees. Plans start at $15 per month at Mint. I love Mint Mobile for many reasons, but a huge one is saving so much money. I was paying almost $200 a month on my last phone bill. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/ratchet. That's mintmobile.com/ratchet. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Feeling better in your body shouldn't be a full-time job. That's why Hers makes it easier to get started and stick with it. Backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans. They connect you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine the best treatment option for you. If prescribed, you get medication as part of a doctor-developed weight loss program, complete with ongoing care, check-ins, dosage, and medication adjustments. And my favorite part, access to 24/7 online support at no additional cost. No hidden fees and no membership fees. Weight loss by Hers is realistic, not restrictive. Hers provides access to affordable weight loss plans built around oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectable options, with oral medication kits starting at just $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid up front. This isn't cookie-cutter care that forgets you in the waiting room. It's your health and goals put first, with real medical providers making sure you get what you need to get results, all from the comfort of your couch. So, if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time you find the best option that works for you through Hers. I love how easy Hers makes it to access good weight loss care. Whether you want to lose weight, grow thicker, fuller hair, or find relief for anxiety, Hers has you covered. Visit forhers.com/ratchet to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/ratchet. forhers.com/ratchet. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not approved or reviewed for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's CBC ALC weekend, or week, because it's more than a weekend. But all the festivities kick off. I mean, actually, some of them start tomorrow. I'm recording this on Sunday night. I usually record on Tuesdays, but I will be gallivanting the rest of the week. So I wanted to make sure I got the pod done. I mean, not just early, but just done at all. I'm moving downtown for the week, and I don't want to take my podcast equipment with me. So I'm recording this episode a little bit early. If something crazy happens, I still have my iPhone. I've had to record on that before when I was gallivanting all over Africa. So if I need to do an episode, I can. But I wanted to make sure we had a proper episode. If you're not familiar, CBC, Congressional Black Caucus Annual Legislative Weekend. There are lots of seminars and lots of panels and lots of people in the policy and political world, the social issues, social justice world, all collide in DC this week. It is a very educational, informative kind of thing. It is also, they call them receptions, but it's really just parties. It's a lot of parties this weekend. Let me not lie to y'all. I'm not going to any panels, and really, seriously, unless my friends are on them. I'm not speaking on one. I will be gallivanting. I will be at the brunches and the receptions and the parties and the after parties. Let me not pretend for you that I'm someone I'm not. I live for this weekend, but we must get our work done before then. I've been working a lot lately. This house got me stressed out. It's nowhere near as bad as the week when the contractors quit, but it's still not done. And my designer told me the other day that they're hoping it will be complete, like everything, before Thanksgiving, which that's amazing. But that also means that I don't move into my house before I go back overseas. Take the blessings where I can find them. I can head back overseas. I think I'll be gone for 5 months this time without the stress of what's going on with the house hanging over me. So I'll find the blessing in it. But I really, really, really did want to be able to like actually live in the house. Like I bought the house in May. I've stayed in it for 4 nights. That's it. So someday I'll move back home and regain well, it's not really my New York life because I don't live in New York. And it's not my old life because I don't want that back. I'm just moving back closer to the place that I used to be forever. The place I feel most at home. Sorry, PG, it's true. Well, whatever. Enough about me. Well, almost. A bunch of you did write in, like a lot, about the See Some World merchandise. So let me see. I'm acting like I wasn't already thinking about this. I have the designs. I've had them for months. I just need to figure out the colors. I'm on it. And it's going to obviously have to happen before I get on a plane in November. So, like, soon come. Maybe I'll announce it. Oh, my God, we're almost in October. October 1st seems like a good day to announce. That's next week's episode. Yeah? It's pre-orders, so you don't have to fight. I let the pre-orders run to the number that the warehouse can handle. All right, let's commit to that, because that gives me ample time, like a full 6 weeks before I get on this plane. Okay, that works. I'm literally looking at a calendar. I really just worked that out in my head, like as I'm talking to you. We do have updates on a few things that we talked about previously. Let's start with Alfred Street Baptist Church. On Wednesday's episode, I included a snippet, soundbite, if you will, of the pastor, Howard John Wesley, of Alfred Street Baptist Church in Alexandria, Virginia. I have been attending. If I was sitting in front of you, I would put air quotes around attending since, I guess, COVID, maybe right before COVID. But last Sunday, he did a sermon. I go to the rock, follow the rock, lead me to the rock, lead me to the rock. Overall, the message was, we are in fraught times, hard, difficult, challenging, WTF. I don't know that I have the proper words to describe what we're in. I ain't been in no shit like this before. Like our current socio-political atmosphere, like as I'm recording, it's Sunday, like I said, they just wrapped, it's a Nazi rally, let's call it what it is, Charlie Kirk's memorial service. They've turned it into propaganda. Like the man's face wasn't even on the flyer, because there's a flyer for the memorial, but his face wasn't even on. Like his name was on it, but his face, it was like his wife, and then it was the vice president and like wig. Like, I'm like, you can't even get your face on the advertisement for your own memorial service? No. But there were fireworks, I heard. There were fighter jets. There were crazy threatening speeches like Stephen Miller went full, you are nothing, you are nothing, you are nothing. And I was like, this sounds familiar. Why do I know this? And it's not Nazi Germany. It's Rwanda, when like neighbor turned on neighbor to commit genocide. But one group was cockroaches, and the government spent months, if not years, dehumanizing. It's othering, essentially. So that when violence broke out, you wouldn't see people as people. You would see them as an infestation. You would see them as cockroaches. You wouldn't see literally your neighbor as your neighbor anymore. Wig at a memorial service. Like he was like, our deity, Mr. Charlie, loved everyone. He was a peaceful man. He had lots of love. He said, I'm not like Charlie. I hate my opponents. And I was like, do you not know that you're supposed to be a leader? Like not just of, MAGA, but like of the whole country? Do you remember like the Obama years? Obama was like, I'm not a leader of just the Democrats. I'm not a leader of just the left. Like, I'm not the president of black people. Like, I am the president of America. Like, whether you disagree or agree, either way, I am still your president and I will do my best for you, the people of my country. Like, leadership. This one, no Obama. But I say all that to say, last week, Pastor Wesley gives this amazing sermon. I shared a clip of it on my page. It went viral just from my page. I have almost 1 million views. And then tons of people retweeted it, shared it, posted to stories. Like, it went everywhere. I saw a notice over the weekend. One of the listeners, slid in my DMs and was like, sis, did you get the email? And I was like, what email? And she was like, an email just went out from the church. Apparently, there were planned protests at the church. So the leadership of the church, including the pastor, let everyone know that, like, hey, when you show up to church on Sunday morning, there could be a situation or could not. We've taken every precaution that we possibly can to keep you safe. I was stressed out about it all Saturday night. I kind of blamed myself a little bit because I was like, I saw the sermon, I was moved by the sermon, and he spoke truth to power. On the last episode on Wednesday, I spoke about this, how it was just really healing as much as you can be healed in a situation like this. With all the gaslighting of like, this man was a hero. And you're like, but hey, he said all of these really terrible things about people. And like, yes, he sat down and he wanted to have a conversation, but he did cause like a lot of harm with his word. I mean, more video clips have been coming out about him, quote and unquote, in conversation where he's like dismissive and combative. Like, I saw this one video. It's him and a young Black student. And the student is telling him about racism and threats of violence that he's experienced on campus. Mr. Charlie is just like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And he's like, well, did you report it to police? But he was like, well, if it happened and it was so important and you were so scared, then you would have reported it. And you not reporting it means that it didn't happen. And the guy was like, well, absolutely, it did happen. Like, whether you believe it or not, like, why would I get up here and say it did if it didn't? And I was like, this is your version of conversing with students. Like, you're talking about young, impressionable minds, which is entirely the reason that he's there, so he can, like, indoctrinate them. You're talking to someone who's between the ages of, say, like, I don't know, 17 to 22. You, as a grown-ass man in your 30s, you are the adult figure here. I mean, college students are adults, full stop, but they're not mature adults. They just got legal. And you're a grown-ass man hearing a young person in their early 20s tell you about a trauma they experienced them, and you just flat out to their face tell them, like, you don't believe them. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But they're deifying him. Like, there's this memorial service that just happened. They said it was like 200,000 people, include like the arena and the overflow. It's televised everywhere. And I was like, yo, President Carter passed. I want to say his funeral was in the National Cathedral. The only reason I remember this is because it was a really big deal that Michelle Obama didn't go. It was televised, but it wasn't 200,000 people, and there were no fireworks, and there were no fighter jets. It wasn't in an arena. I say that to say, I'm going to get to this point, I swear. I needed to hear that sermon. I shared a part of the sermon that resonated with me because I thought other people would want to hear it too. I shared it with the best of intentions of like, somebody saying what needs to be said, looky here, and that's my pastor, y'all. That was my intent, but it goes viral, and then people want to protest the church. Same video I uploaded was placed elsewhere, and it was a non-Black space, and people were having, like, they were calling him a racist and a bigot and a false prophet, and, you know, he's just stirring hate. That's not a place of worship. They're demonic. So I felt like, I don't know, like I did something to contribute to the protest at the church. And then also, any threat to a Black church, if you're a Black person who ever watched Eyes on the Prize, like you hear a threat to a church, you think about bombings of churches. You think about the 4 little girls who were killed at a church. You think about Mother Emanuel. You think about the civil rights movement and all the unrest and all of those things. And I'm like, oh my God, did I just bring this to like my church? No, The church also shared a portion of the sermon on their page, a similar portion to what I shared. It was a much longer excerpt, but it went viral there as well. So I was like, okay, it's not on me. And I also feel like, because it was such a powerful sermon, if I didn't share it, tons of other people would too. So service today, Pastor Wesley didn't preach. He said that, it was a long week. He didn't go into details. He thanked people for praying for the church, praying for him, praying for his children. Kind of seemed to imply that there had been threats of some sort to all three, which, Jesus. But he had a guest minister who did a really great job. A similarly thematic sermon as last week. I mean, it's church, so all the sermons kind of go back to eyes on the prize being God. So basically, like, okay, there is a king on a throne who is trying to oppress us. There is a higher king on a higher throne. That's who we answer to. And also, this too shall pass. Trouble doesn't last always. Gist of the sermon. Also, some members of the church shared that, they got the email and they came, ready for whatever. The church has been around since literally the 1800s. We done seen slavery, the Civil War, and Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and the Civil Rights Movement. We done seen it all, and we're still standing. Folks came to church ready for whatever, and I heard there was like no one. There was not a single protester outside, which I was like, the weapon was formed, but did not prosper. So Alfred Street is okay. I hope it continues to be okay. Not just to relieve my personal feelings of guilt. I mean, that's very minuscule. But just like the only thing standing between, like, I don't know, I feel like black folk, and I don't mean like black folk now. I mean black folk since like slavery, setting this whole bitch on fire, is the black church. And some people are like, that's the problem. The black church won't let folks bang. And I was just like, they got more weapons than us. I don't know how that war ends. But like all the anxiety that I was feeling prior to Pastor Wesley's sermon, I'm not going to say it removed all of it, but it just, it refocused me and let me know, just like, if you're feeling crazy, that's intentional, but you're not crazy. And here's the God's honest truth as I know it to be based on biblical teachings. What other updates do we have? Oh, the shooter, the Charlie Kirk shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. I'm reading this on NBC News, and I'm reminded of it just thinking about the excerpts that I saw from Mr. Charlie's memorial earlier today. For the speakers that I read news articles that had quotes. I'm like, I cannot subject myself to that. But J.D. Vance, Trump, Stephen Miller, a couple other people, their messaging is all us versus them. The us being MAGA and then the them being liberals. This war that they are fighting because they are good, peace and calm and love, and liberals and left are violent and hateful and must be stopped in the name of God. Charlie Kirk's alleged killer, the person they have in custody who allegedly wrote a timestamped transcript and then sent it to their trans lover. Like, the person you have in custody is the person that you are intent in pinning this on. Okay. By all accounts, seemingly so far, not very political at all. Like, there's been conversation online about how he's a follower of Nick Fuentes. Fuentes, you hear the last name, but he calls himself white. And I was like, I mean, maybe in your home country, in America, no, that's not how our social construction of race works. But okay, sure. But he's even further right than Mr. Charlie and them. And the idea was like the shooter was a Nick Fuentes devotee. The shooter was further right than Mr. Charlie and was mad that Mr. Charlie wasn't as far right as he wanted him to be. And that's why he shot him. That's the internet conspiracy theory of it. And then what journalists are actually reporting is nobody really knows why he shot him. So I'm reading this on NBC. It says the federal investigation into, they call it an assassination. People are insisting this is an assassination. But basically, the federal investigation cannot find a link between the alleged shooter and left-wing groups. And they note that Wig and his administration have pledged to crack down on left-wing groups, Antifa in particular, after the killing. NBC is reporting they spoke to one person familiar with the federal investigation. They said there's no evidence connecting the suspect with any left-wing groups. Duh. It says every indication so far is that this was one guy who did one really bad thing because he found Kirk's ideology personally offensive. Even before they being MAGA, knew who the shooter was. They'd already decided it was some leftist. And
that's who they're blaming everything on, even though the left seemingly has absolutely nothing to do with this. I'm reading this on NPR. It says others have suggested, if not a radical leftist, that he was groomed by a, quote, trans terror cell, and he may have been working with larger groups, including Antifa. This article also notes Robinson is not registered with any political party in Utah. There is no evidence of his positions on other issues of importance to the left, such as immigration or labor. I mean, I know that I'm preaching to the choir here because I feel like if you listen to this podcast, maybe you're not full left. Maybe you're further left than me. I don't know. Maybe we don't have the exact same political ideals, but I'm pretty sure you're not MAGA. Pretty sure. I feel like it's necessary to continue to reiterate there is no left organization that had anything to do with this. This is a 22-year-old who, for whatever reasons that are currently unknown, decided to shoot Mr. Charlie.
If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contacts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Ditch overpriced wireless and their jaw-dropping bills, unexpected overages, and hidden fees. Plans start at $15 per month at Mint. I love Mint Mobile for many reasons, but a huge one is saving so much money. I was paying almost $200 a month on my last phone bill. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/ratchet. That's mintmobile.com/ratchet. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Feeling better in your body shouldn't be a full-time job. That's why Hers makes it easier to get started and stick with it. Backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans. They connect you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine the best treatment option for you. If prescribed, you get medication as part of a doctor-developed weight loss program, complete with ongoing care, check-ins, dosage, and medication adjustments. And my favorite part, access to 24/7 online support at no additional cost. No hidden fees and no membership fees. Weight loss by Hers is realistic, not restrictive. Hers provides access to affordable weight loss plans built around oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectable options, with oral medication kits starting at just $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid up front. This isn't cookie-cutter care that forgets you in the waiting room. It's your health and goals put first, with real medical providers making sure you get what you need to get results, all from the comfort of your couch. So, if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time you find the best option that works for you through Hers. I love how easy Hers makes it to access good weight loss care. Whether you want to lose weight, grow thicker, fuller hair, or find relief for anxiety, Hers has you covered. Visit forhers.com/ratchet to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/ratchet. forhers.com/ratchet. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not approved or reviewed for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
We have, I think this counts as good Black news personally. Letitia James, the Attorney General for New York State, Trump has been on her ass. Letitia James got a conviction for Trump. Let's see, New York versus Trump. A lawsuit by the Office of the New York Attorney General alleging that individuals and business entities within the Trump organization engaged in financial fraud by presenting vastly disparate property values to potential lenders and tax officials in violation of New York executive law, blah, 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 blah. The defendants were Trump, 5 other individuals, including 3 of his children, and 10 business entities, including some that owned property in New York, Florida, and Chicago. After a trial that took place in October 2023 to January 2024, the presiding judge ordered the defendants, they said disgorge, to pay a total of U.S. $364 million of ill-gotten gains, among other penalties. So he appealed that case, but the interest continued to accrue. It went up to $500 million, 513 million American USD dollars and dineros. But an appeals court threw out the debt. So he currently doesn't owe money. There's no financial penalty, literally nothing. He was sentenced to unconditional discharge, which meant he faced no fines, prison time, or probation. A judge determined this was the appropriate punishment given his status as president-elect and surrounding circumstances. Womp womp. Trump is also appealing the actual conviction, which is currently being heard in federal court. Whew, that's a lot. Even though he doesn't owe New York State $500 million, he's pissed that Letitia James even brought the case against him, dragged him through that, had him sitting up in court, had his business in the street. Like, he real angry at this woman. So he wants her to suffer. Somebody in like MAGA camp came up with this idea that Letitia James had lied on her mortgage application. She was accused of mortgage fraud and falsifying documents with the Federal Housing Finance Agency. That agency is run by one of Wig's, I don't even know what to call them, minions. They referred the matter to the DOJ for criminal prosecution. Letitia James has categorically denied any wrongdoing. And in fact, I think the buzzword from her is the accusations are baseless. Baseless. And she said it with bass in her voice. I'm scrolling down to see like what exactly this issue was. The allegation is that she falsely stated in 2023 that a home in Norfolk, Virginia was her primary residence. But she's New York's attorney general, so she's required to maintain her primary residence in New York. She has a Brooklyn townhouse, but her lawyer has stated that a power of attorney document mistakenly contained this claim that the Virginia home was the primary residence. But there's also an email to a mortgage broker that clarified that the Virginia property was not her primary residence. So that clears her. There's also some issue with the Brooklyn townhouse. The claim is that James misstated the number of units in her Brooklyn property. It says that it has 4, but a certificate of occupancy says that the townhouse actually has 5. This discrepancy could have allowed her to qualify for a more favorable loan. She was accused of it, but nothing ever came of it, which is what brings us to today's story. So Trump hired this guy, Eric Siebert, to go after Letitia James and bring charges against her. He was the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. So, like, remember Cousin Day Day on the Diddy trial and the Eric Adams trial? This is like the Virginia version of Day Day. So Eric Siebert, try as he might, couldn't find anything against Letitia James and was like, there's nothing. You told me to go after the lady. Like, I did everything I can and I can't find anything. So Wig is pissed that there's no charges against Letitia James. So Eric was like, hey, you're clearly unhappy with me. I'm going to resign. Oh, I'm sorry, a correction. Eric was he'd been nominated as U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Wig wants you to know, he put this all in a tweet or True Social, I guess. He wants everyone to know that Eric Siebert is out, but, quote, he didn't quit. I fired him. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So Wig hits up Pam Bondi. I think he thought he was sending a DM, but in fact, he was posting on open socials. Does Politico have the full tweet? No, I want to read the full tweet. It's so unhinged. And I was like, he's actively confessing to using the DOJ to get revenge on his enemies. Did I not screenshot that? Demetria. Okay, here we go. He writes this note and he starts it off with Pam. He says, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time. All talk, no action, nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. There is a great case, and many lawyers and legal pundits say so. We can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing, all caps. Justice must be served now. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, all caps. President DJT. This is a massive scandal. Like, the president of the United States just openly admitted he's using U.S. attorneys, the DOJ, to go after his perceived enemies. Even if the current U.S. attorney is like, it really is baseless, there's nothing there, he's pushing to continue going after them. He's on a revenge hunt. Like, this is illegal. Hello? Hillary Clinton saw that and was like, imagine if Richard Nixon just tweeted out the Watergate scandal rather than putting it on secret tapes. That's what this is. The underreaction is astounding. I also think it speaks to how much other crazy ish is going on, that this is not registering as like, this is an impeachable, get that mofo out of here for real this time offense. Richard Nixon resigned for less. Also, good Black news this week. Cardi dropped her new album. It went platinum in like a few hours. And people were like, oh, because she put all those old songs on there. I want to say like WAP and If It's Up. It was a couple of her singles that had gone multi-platinum and she put them on the album. Actually, as it was explained to me by like a friend in the industry, single sales are different than album sales. So her putting those like big songs on the album is not what made the album go platinum. What made the album go platinum is that pre-sales have been running for, I don't know, weeks now. So people could purchase it and all the sales count towards that one day. But people are like, oh, it's because of the singles. It's not because of the singles. And then people are like, Cardi went and she bought her own music. She got all that money. And it's like, no, she actually just did the damn thing. I personally like the album. The Lizzo song is my favorite one. The sample from Four Non-Blondes. I like it enough, the album as a whole and that song especially, that I worked out to it today. That's always my testament. Like, I've been listening to it in the house because I've been working a bunch, so I had it on. If I listen to it in the car and I listen to it on the treadmill, then that means, like, it's a actually really good album. It's not just like, oh, I like Cardi, so, like, you know, anything she puts out. I saw this guy online and he was like, as women, aren't y'all like annoyed that all she talks about is like men and being hot and, you know, how good her sex is and, you know, y'all don't want her to have no more range. And I was like, no, specifically listen to her because I want to hear her talk shit. I want to listen to grown people music. Like, I listen to Nas. I want to listen to drug dealer music. I listen to Rick Ross. I want to listen to Christian drug dealer music. I listen to Clips. Cardi has her own lane. I don't need her to be anything other than exactly what she has branded herself as. There was something else going on with Cardi. Oh, I went on Threads this afternoon and Crystal from The Read was trending. Her name was trending. Crystal is none too happy about Cardi's recent pregnancy and her choice of who to be pregnant by. She said a lot, but what people seem to be reacting to is something like, you're going to die on the operating table. And I was like, oh, Crystal, oh, Crystal, oh, Crystal, oh, Crystal. I'm not going to sit here and be self-righteous and pretend that, you know, maybe 5 years ago, that's not something that might have come out my mouth. I said about Cardi's current pregnancy on the last episode, I'm glad she's not with Offset. It is messy. Not necessarily because it's her 4th kid, but like, you're still married to somebody else and now you're pregnant with a new dude who may have several other women pregnant at the same time or in the same year. Like, that's a lot. Somebody asked Cardi about it. She addressed it online. And so she was like, well, you know, bitch, then we got the same baby daddy. I guess we're going to have to figure it out. I think Crystal was a little too harsh. You see, I'm struggling here. Did she lie, though? Hear me out. Delivery, ungood. Is the message untrue? Is it? Crystal went on and on and on about Cardi at length. I think it was around 8 to 10 minutes. She was very passionate about it, Cardi's current situation. And she pointed out several things that people aren't discussing that I think had merit. She speaks at length about how it takes more than money to raise a decent child. Is that not true? She's allegedly having this kid, people are speculating somewhere around November, and then she's going to go on a full tour in February with 4 kids, including a baby, because Blossom just turned 1, and a newborn. Is it not true that that's juggling a lot? That's a lot. Crystal wondered about, like, what is her stage presence going to be? And she points to, the first time out, the first album that Cardi did, she was pregnant then too, and she had to cancel the tour. But the performances that she did right after she was pregnant were pretty lackluster. I ask again, did she lie? She also has some things to say about, like, Cardi's mindset. And she's like, hey, like, I don't know if you realize that you're like a major global celebrity with influence and not like some bored chick. She says in the Bronx. Cardi is from the Bronx. That comes with a whole bunch of other layers in there. I don't agree with that part. But she was like, you're not some bored, broke chick with nothing going on for yourself. Why are you acting like one? Like this album is not anticipated, like you are not like a global celebrity. What are you doing? And she points out, like, this is the second time you've done this. Like, nothing wrong with having kids, but is this the most opportune time in the middle of promoting your sophomore album and going on tour because you had to cancel the last one because you were pregnant to get pregnant now? And she also points out that just because you want to have sex does not mean you can't use condoms, does not mean you can't have sex in other ways that don't result in pregnancy. She said it was really crass. Something like, every man who drops off contents in your uterus, like you don't have to carry it to a baby, something like that. And I was like, oh, Crystal, oh, Crystal, oh, Crystal, oh, Crystal. But again, did she lie? The delivery, not so good. The overall sentiment to Cardi as a grown-ass woman, no, I wouldn't say it. To nieces and young girls under my care who ask for my advice, absolutely. And I might say it about the same way Crystal said it. I wouldn't say it to another grown woman that way, though. I think the overall message, a hard listen, brutal, harsh. Delivery could use some improvement. But the overall messaging, is it a good idea to be having a 4th kid right now? I mean, there's nothing to be done about it, which is part of the reason I didn't go in on it. She's pregnant now. She's chosen to have the baby. The baby is on the way. The tour is scheduled. The album is released. The train is out the station. But did she lie? Mm-hmm. I had originally planned to run Crystal's audio as part of this podcast, and I reached out to Crystal to ask her permission and gave her a heads up that I was talking about her on the podcast, just professional courtesy. And I told her, I was like, my take is, not dragging you, but it's, it's a harsh delivery, but did she lie? To which Crystal responded, yes, it was harsh. LOL. The show is called The Read. It's not Bluey. So she stands by what she said, which I kind of expected her to. Cardi, who is chronically online, and I told you what Crystal said was trending. So Cardi did see it, and Cardi did respond to Crystal. She said, one thing nobody can fuck with me or tell me about is my motherhood. I'll beat bitches up for that title. One thing I know, I am a great mother. She continued, yes, I have people that help me with my kids, but this ain't no, I just drop them off and someone is raising them for me. It's very clear that's not what I do. She said, they love to pick on you when you're knocked up. People just like to pick on you. They wish bad on you. They try to bring you stress. They might wish something so nasty on you, on your life. Why would you say, and I hope you don't die on a mommy makeover? And I got 4 kids. It's just very dark and it's very nasty. And then she ended, why you crying that I'm knocked up? Is this your fucking baby, bitch? How you mad at me and I'm happy for myself?
What comes to mind when you picture the perfect roommate? One who comes when you call, one who doesn't forget to lock the doors, maybe one who doesn't steal your milk just a little bit at a time, hoping that you won't notice. At Apartments.com, they understand that when it comes to roommates, a pet can be your best bet. They're easygoing, they eat what you serve them, and they never clog the toilet. And that's why Apartments.com has the most pet-friendly rental listings on the internet. And with instant alerts, you'll know the moment that your perfect pet-friendly place becomes available. Apartments.com has so many features like 3D virtual tours, the ability to save your favorite apartments, and with over 1 million places to rent, you are absolutely going to find the right place for you. Apartments.com knows that moving can be stressful, but by giving you options, filtered searches, and more, they can help take away some of that stress. When I need a new apartment, I will definitely need a pet-friendly choice. So if you guys need a place that's pet-friendly and human-tolerant, check out Apartments.com, the place to find your pet-friendly place. Thanks, Apartments.com, for sponsoring the podcast.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
An update from last week. We talked about the young man who was found hanging from a tree on the college campus in Mississippi. We were waiting on the official autopsy report. It is back. The official autopsy report has determined that it was a suicide. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump is doing his own investigation of what happened on the family's behalf. I hear what they're saying in Mississippi, like the official government response. You got to understand completely why I don't trust it. Benjamin Crump, if his investigation has the same results, then we can leave it there. Also, Colin Kaepernick has also offered to pay for an independent autopsy and investigation as well. So between him and Crump, their investigations, I will accept their final answers on what happened to this young man. I also heard there was video of whatever it was that happened. I pray to God it's not released publicly. I don't want to see that. I don't think anybody needs to see that. The family has asked that if people have it, that they don't release it. But Crump did ask to see the video. So if he says this was a troubled young man who took his own life, I'll let it go. But in the meantime, we still watching for a final answer. Oh, this Kamala Harris book. We read the first excerpts of the book. I want to say it was in New York Magazine. It was kind of like a just okay to me. I wasn't like super thrilled. We read it on here. I think we read like the highlights. She didn't find Joe's staff to be supportive of her. She had a lot of complaints. She didn't feel like the White House gave her like important things to do that showed off her abilities. She got dragged in the press. They didn't come to her defense. I think I compared her. I did. I compared her to kind of how them royal folks was doing Meghan over in the UK. I was like, it's interesting enough. Like, all right, like we'll see. Some more excerpts have come out from the book. This time, people are wondering if Kamala Harris is going to try to run again. Because they're like, you out here dragging everybody. If you ever tried to run again, who are you going to get to support you? Because you're out here spilling all this tea, telling all this business, and it's not good business. We're back on Politico. And the title of this article, it's about Kamala Harris's book. The title is Harris's Score-Settling, Elbow-Throwing, Bridge-Burning Memoir. Let's see. Coach Walz, who was ultimately her VP pick, I thought he was actually a great pick. He was likable. He was wonderful. He was personable. Like, I enjoyed him. He was not her first pick, as she says in the book. It was actually Pete Buttigieg. Kamala didn't pick him, partially because he was gay. And she said, quote, "We were already asking a lot of America to accept a woman married to a Jewish man. She said, part of me wanted to say, screw it, let's just do it. But knowing what was at stake, i.e. challenging Whig and the worst that was to come, she said it was too big a risk." She said Pennsylvania Governor
Josh Shapiro was also on the short list before Tim Walz, and she decided not to go with him, even though she thought he was poised, polished, and personable, because she was put off by his ambition and his request to be in the room for every major decision. She worried that he would not settle for the number 2 job. She described Shapiro as, quote, peppering her and staff with questions, not just about details of the job, but also life as vice president. He asked the residence manager a number of questions about the home, ranging from the number of bedrooms to how he might arrange to get Pennsylvania artists' work on loan from the Smithsonian. She also accused him of lack of discretion. She recalled that his official vehicles with Pennsylvania plates were filmed by CNN in front of the vice president's residence, despite efforts by her staff to arrange for less attention getting transportation. And then obviously she ended up choosing Coach Walz, and she praises him as having, quote, an appealing authenticity and was genuinely self-depreciating. She said, in contrast to Shapiro, he had no specific vision of the role of vice president. She does say her husband, Mr. Dougie, leaned toward Shapiro, but Walz was the consensus pick of her staff and other close family members. After preparing a pork roast for dinner, she settled on him. There's some other interesting things here. I saw this more succinctly written in another article, and I want to quote that. It was just good writing. I'm reading on the New York Times. Biden's choice to stay in the race so long was based on ego and ambition. Okay, boom, here we go. This is still the New York Times, who says that the best moments in 107 days happen when Harris is open about what she saw and clear about what she really thinks. When this memoir is truly a book about a campaign and not just one more politician's campaign book, if you understand the difference. Because one such episode occurs early in the book when Harris calls numerous Democratic luminaries immediately after Biden left the race, hoping to enlist their support. Her recollections of the exchanges nicely capture their personalities. Hillary Clinton immediately says, I want to be part of your war council. Barack Obama demurred. Michelle and I are supportive, but not going to put a finger on the scale right now. Bernie Sanders was on brand. Please focus on the working class, not just on abortion. Nancy Pelosi suggested we should have some kind of primary, not an anointment. Then there's Gavin Newsom, governor of Harris's home state, who simply responded, hiking, we'll call back. He never did. Yikes. I can't wait for this book to come out. I think the book drops it must be on Tuesday. Yeah? I am going to the store to pick up a copy of this book first thing Tuesday morning. I'm looking at San Francisco Chronicle, their review of the book, F-bombs, regrets, and a Willie Brown reference. That was the old guy she dated when she was like 29. Kamala Harris's book is surprisingly dishy. The San Francisco Chronicle says, unlike Harris's previous painfully stilted memoir, 107 Days is far more candid, salty, incoming F-bombs, and even a little dishy. She names names. Last but not least, I did cancel my Hulu Disney Plus account. Hulu, Disney Plus, ABC, they're all in cahoots. Disney is the parent company. On the surface, I canceled because of Jimmy Kimmel, but for real, it's about the First Amendment. I read that Disney lost somewhere between $3.5 and $4 billion between cancellations and the stock dropping because of this. I guess it's a boycott at this point. One of my favorite series, if you're a long-term listener of the show or you read online, I have been recapping Reasonable Doubt since the first season. I love Jax. I mean, she's crazy as shit, but she's also given us amazing love scenes with MF Michael Ealy in season 1, and then came back season 2 with MF Morris Chestnut. I mean, yeah, I like the plot and all that too. So season 3 is back. It launched a day or two after people started boycotting. So the day after Kimmel was put indefinitely on hiatus, I canceled, but my subscription was already paid out until the 28th. So it wasn't like I was, paying them more money to watch the show. It was already paid for. So it was 2 new episodes of this new season of Reasonable Doubt. So I went ahead and watched them. And I'm going to go ahead and watch the next one that comes out before the 28th. And then we're done. At least on Disney Hulu. I'm going to have to find another way to watch the show. I like the season so far. I'm a little annoyed, but that's like one of the things that I like about the show. Like these characters make, just insane decisions. And Jax, the wife, is a little unhinged. Oh, for clarity, full spoilers. I'm speaking freely. If you do not want to hear about the new season of Reasonable Doubt, then you should go now. Immediately now. Please leave and go. Okay. Last season, Jax and Lewis, actually, first season, Jax and Lewis were living separate lives, married but separated when the show began. Although they would do family stuff, church stuff to keep up appearances, spend time with the kids, things like that. While they were on hiatus, Jax, got it popping with Michael Ealy, and then there was the guy who was doing security at the house, and then Lewis watched on video and Jax knew he was watching. And I was like, what kind of shit y'all into? But apparently they did a flashback in season 2, and they used to like going to sex club. They're into that swinger life, whatever works for y'all. So Jax was doing her own thing. Lewis started doing his own thing with one of the parents of his son's friend from school. Messy. His version of events, he said he slept with her 4 times. One of the times they were drunk, they were high, they wasn't safe, and she got pregnant. Jax, of course, when she finds out Lewis got this other woman pregnant because he lies about it, she finds out in a roundabout way that her husband got this lady pregnant. She kicks him out the house again. Like, it's a mess. But then she decides, like he's a good man who made a mistake, and technically they were on break. So she should give her husband another chance. So we gonna be the baby mama to your outside baby that you had while we was on break. And they legitimately were on break. But I'm like, still, my nigga, like, no condom? Your pull-out game weak? Clearly. So they decide they're gonna be joint baby mama to the lady's baby. She's none too happy about it, but what else she gonna do? Because she wants to have this baby. She ends up having a miscarriage. She blames Jax and the husband for the miscarriage, and at the final scene of season 2, she sues them for it. So we pick up at the top of season 3, kind of where we left off. They're in negotiations with this lady's lawyer. She's asking for crazy shit. Jax is being like belligerent and crazy and taking the lead on this whole situation because, she's the lawyer, even though they actually hired a lawyer. Jax is trying to fix the problem that her husband created, and it's driving her mad. The situation escalates after they run into the lady at the restaurant. The lady tries to say some slick shit to Jax. Jax, she got a mouth on her. She says some more slick shit. And then the lady who was already being unreasonable decides to be further unreasonable about this settlement that she wants from them to make things right about this baby. Jax fires the lawyer that she and Lewis had hired. And then she's decided she's going to represent them herself, which I was like, girl, you're a great lawyer, but I don't know about this one. But she levels with the other lawyer. And she was like, what exactly is it that you think she wants here? Like, what's the end game? Because we can't keep going back and forth. It's gone on too long. She was like, you're dealing with a woman who's very hurt and very wounded. So Lewis says, let me talk to her one-on-one without you interfering and see like if we could get to the bottom of what's happening, maybe get more favorable terms, but like, let me talk to her. So he does. Her terms are she wants to spend one night with him. And Jax is like, the fuck? Which was also my reaction. Lewis was like, I think it's the only way to get this situation to go away. So I'm going to go do it. I'm going to be respectful. I'm not going to touch the lady, but I'm going to go to see what it is that she wants. So like give her closure or whatever. I just knew they was going to end up fucking. He goes to the lady's house. She has a whole room that she put together for the baby. Like she spent a ton of money, is very meticulous. This was a child that she very much wanted. And then she lost the baby. And she was like, well, I had to do all this by myself and now I got to take it down. And it's just like a lot because it was just me. She was like, at least you had your wife to like help you with the situation. And he was like, nah, like we never put up a nursery. Like we didn't. And she was like, oh, I don't think they ever did anything for that baby except argue about it. He hangs out at the house. Jax is at home mainlining wine because her husband, he said he was going to text her every hour with updates. He was also going to call her. He was also going to get the lady to sign an agreement saying that like after this night, she has, no more legal hold. She's not going to sue them. She's not going to pursue them for money. Everything is just done. But she doesn't sign until the end, which I was like, bruh, you had one job. Your wife told you to get in there, have her sign that immediately, and then y'all could proceed. She won't sign in the first 5 minutes. You get the fuck out. He ain't do that. Eventually she does sign though. But like while they're, reminiscing about the baby, taking stuff down, she is looking at Lewis and getting fond and like tries to like, basically hump him. And he's like, no, that's not what I'm here for. He got back home. He said nothing happened. It doesn't seem that it did. He had like some reminiscing about the lady, but he didn't proceed to do anything. But I was like, I hope this part of the storyline is over because I'm very disinterested in anything more about this outside baby storyline. It makes Jax crazy for tons of obvious reasons. It frustrates me watching her bend herself into a pretzel, trying to make herself okay with a situation that she is fundamentally not okay with. Even though, like, yes, they were on break. Yes, she had sex with other people. They had a whole argument about this. Because she was like, you had sex with this woman and got her pregnant. He was like, you had sex with other people. The luck of the draw is that you didn't get pregnant. And so she was like, I was safe. I was careful. I, was actively not trying to get somebody pregnant. And he was like, I made a mistake. I hear you. People make mistakes. I feel you. I hear you. But her trying to wrap her mind around dealing with this outside baby, it's not settling with her. And she's trying to force it, and it's making her. I don't like watching her struggle like that. Also, Jax has a new client. I saw folks saying they thought it was based on Jonathan Majors because he was like dating a white girl before he got with Megan Good. In my heart of hearts, believe there was some overlap there. I swear Megan Good is the one that sent the text that like set old girl off in the back of the car and like everything started spinning out. So there's a popular belief that after Jonathan Majors gets into this domestic situation with his white girlfriend, that he started dating Hollywood sweetheart Megan Good in order to clean up his image and rehab his audience, which was, he was in a Marvel movie, so it wasn't just women. But women at one point, like, really just loved him, thought he was, like, like, really ideal guy, like, very charming, very wonderful, like, Ebony at one point, it put him on the cover, throwing roses at people and everyone swooned. Like, it was a whole thing. And then obviously it went away. So people were saying that this new case in Reasonable Doubt, where it's a black guy with a white girlfriend, his family and friends are trying to keep it quiet. They want the girlfriend, I think she's like 10 years older than him. He's like maybe 24. His makeup artist or his stylist, one of those. But they want her to sign an NDA so she can't go blab her mouth that she's dating this, like, it's kind of like a young Michael B. Jordan is kind of what the character reminds me of. He looks like Jeremy Pope. He's beautiful. Oh my God, he's beautiful. The new guy that's the center of the case on Reasonable Doubt, and also Jeremy Pope. Like, I love that phenotype. I think it's the lips. It might be the jawline too. Whatever it is, I like it lots. I don't think the guy on the show is old enough for me to go to actually fawn the way I want to. But Jeremy Pope is. That's a gorgeous man. He ain't got a lick of interest in ladies. But he is a gorgeous man. Like, you don't see me, I still see you. People keep saying this is based on Jonathan Majors, but I was like, isn't this also, like, couldn't be the storyline for, like, most of the black men in Hollywood? Because didn't Michael B. Jordan have, like, the same thing for a while until he dated Lori Harvey for that year? Like, it was always like, black women are swooning over him, but does he swoon for black women? Because nobody ever saw him with a black girl. When I was in LA, I ran into him at a party and he was like all over a black girl. And I was like, oh, he does date black girls. Okay. But other than Lori Harvey, like publicly, I think Lori Harvey's actually the only person he's been publicly with. Everybody else, there's been rumors of such, but it was never rumors of such with a black girl. But I was like, this applies to like a good chunk of black men in Hollywood, like Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx don't try to hide that he dates white women though. There's a lot of people that date white women. It don't bother me as long as they don't throw black women under the bus. But I didn't see the Jonathan Majors in it. Like, yes, there's a black actor who's dating a white woman. He wants to keep it on the low, or he keeps his white wife out of the spotlight. Omari Hardwick. And now every black actor that's married to a white woman or a non-black woman is about to pop in my head. But I guess because there's like a DV sort of situation in this, maybe that's why they're comparing it to Jonathan Majors. I don't know. I didn't see the Jonathan Majors overlap. But where the case stands now, the guy, the new client, his girlfriend, they got into an argument and then she went missing. He was the last person to see her. So obviously when people find out she's missing, people start looking at him and they're just like, everybody else is calling around trying to find her. And he ain't trying to find her. Is he not trying to find her because he knows where she is? Like, what happened to her? So it goes from she's missing to they found the body. And then everybody's looking at him. And he had to be arrested in connection with the killing at this point. So Jax and her firm are going to represent him. A couple things. While Lewis is off at this lady's house, there's a big turn in the investigation. That's when they find, I think, the woman's body. Morris Chestnut ends up at Jax's house and stays overnight. They're sitting in the hallway together. It's very platonic. But then Jax is thinking about Lewis and she's just all upset. She needs to be comforted. She needed what Stephanie Mills calls the comfort of a man, and her actual husband wasn't there. She kept it platonic-y enough, but she's sitting on the floor next to Morris Chestnut, and then she ends up like laying her head on his shoulder and sort of like giving a snuggle in. And even Morris Chestnut looks over and was like, the fuck? And he was like, you all right? And she was just like, yeah. So he was like, all right. And then he just goes back to, vampire resting state. I want them to get it popping just because I want to see it on screen. I was about to say I'll resubscribe to Hulu for that. I won't, but I do want to see it just, because I do, because I'm nasty. Oh, I don't know how I get this far without talking about it. So there's a new character this season. He's a lawyer at Jack's law firm, and he's trying to become partner. It's Tommy from Power. Ghost bumbling partner in drugs is now playing this very straight-laced lawyer, and he's playing like a straight-up white boy, not like, white boy who has all black friends, white boy, straight up like white, except he does have like a black wife because he wants to become partner, and Jax is partners. Other partners throw out the idea. They were like, yeah, so we want to bring so-and-so up. And Jax was like, nah, like the average to get partner is 7. He's only been here 6 years, and I had to wait 8, so no. So he's trying to like butter Jax up, and he's like, oh, do you have a family? And she's like, yeah, husband, 2 kids. He was like, yeah, I got a family too. I got kids. Let me show you the kids. And then you can clearly see the biracial babies. It softens Jax. So she's like, oh, okay, well, let's talk about it further. Like, let me get to know you, and, we could keep having conversation about, what you want from the job. He upped to something though. I just don't know what. Like, he's clocking Jax every move, and it's kind of undermining her a little bit. But so far, like, the season is good. Like, it's a strong start for season 3. It seems to be very consistent with, the show that we know and love. It doesn't seem to be some wild change in the writer's room where they've dropped the ball. It seems good and consistent. I am emotionally invested and fraught and frustrated. Oh, Lewis got locks. I should have wrote all this stuff down. He looked good. I always thought the husband was easy on the eye. Back when he was on, what's my little favorite meanie? Hit the Floor. The show about the cheerleaders for the basketball team. I love that show. Oh my God, I love that show. I've always thought that he was a nice looking man. He's aged nicely too. He was okay with like just the grown out hair, him and the locks and the man bun. And just, I was like, ow. I like man buns. I don't typically date men with hair, but I like. That's not everything. I got a feeling some crazy shit is going to happen between now. Not now and Wednesday, between now and Friday. There's no way I'm going to get away with only recording 1 episode, is there? At some point, I'm just going to have to accept I have to go back to 2 episodes a week. I know. God told me. I know. We'll cross the bridge when we get to it, okay? In the meantime, goodbye. Or not. In the time it took me to record the episode and then go through and edit the episode, ABC has announced that Jimmy Kimmel will be returning to the air as of Tuesday? Did I read that correctly? Jimmy Kimmel is back? Does that mean I get to watch Hulu in peace? I need to see what he's talking about when he gets back. I'm reading this on The Hollywood Reporter. The ABC late night host is returning to broadcast on Tuesday. He was pulled off for less than a week following a brief but monumental suspension that sparked a national debate over the Trump administration's pressure tactics and the modern limits and consequences of free speech. This is the official Walt Disney Company statement. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. Is that why you did it? It had nothing to do with the threats from the head of the FCC? Is that the story we're going with? It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. This is not accurate. It's not accurate. What Jimmy Kimmel said was not disrespectful in any way to the deceased. The issue was he made fun of the president talked about the reporter asking him about how he was coping with the death of Mr. Charlie, and then Wig wanted to talk about building his ballroom instead. That was the issue. He also talked about MAGA trying to place the blame of the shooting on leftist, anti-fascist activists. Telling the truth, stating the obvious, shouldn't be enough to get someone pulled off the air. They're not being fully honest here. I don't like it. Disney didn't say so, but Hollywood Reporter is mentioning the comments by the FCC chair that sounded like a threat. I mean, not sounded like, was. Despite Kimmel's return, it is not immediately clear if his show will be available across the entire country. Sinclair, for its part, has said that it would not go back to running Kimmel's show on its stations until the late-night host apologized for his comments, met with Sinclair representatives, and made a donation to Turning Point, the organization that Kirk founded. Sinclair, it should be noted, owns the ABC station in the Washington, D.C. metro area. Even if I wanted to see Jimmy, I may not be able to see Jimmy. It says Nexstar similarly could also choose to continue to preempt the show, though of course it would still be accessible online across the country after it runs on ABC. It talks about the suspension, grew quick praise from the president, but, quote, few others. Instead, it sparked a massive outpouring of criticism of Disney, Nexstar, and Sinclair for caving to pressure. Media pundits, politicians, Hollywood unions, celebrity, other talk show hosts, and even some Republican leaders, such as Ted Cruz and Rand Paul. You know how much it blows my mind that I've been agreeing with Ted Cruz and Rand Paul? Even Nick Fuentes, he was like, what was that memorial? And I was like, am I agreeing with Nick Fuentes? Candace Owens even. I'm like, what is happening where people who usually make no sense have started making sense? I was like, am I being indoctrinated? No, just shit has gone so far left that people who always sound crazy are even like, this is crazy. But all of those people condemn the series of the events as a dangerous step towards networks becoming state-run media, with many framing it as a potential, quote, tipping point moment if Disney didn't reverse its decision. Some people online pledged to unsubscribe and boycott Disney subsidiaries such as Disney Plus and Hulu. That would be me. They note that Barack Obama weighed in. After years of complaining about cancel culture, the current administration is taking it to a new and dangerous level by routinely threatening regulatory action against media companies unless they muzzle or fire reporters and commentators. Oh, I'm scrolling. This man really did a press conference talking about Tylenol causes autism. This is the same man that told people to inject bleach to get rid of COVID. I would not suggest that you follow any medical advice from this man unless you want to die. Please consult your physician. And why are they specifically calling out Tylenol, not like the name of the actual drug? Acetaminophen? Don't ask me how I can pronounce that and not like regular shit. That's the way my mind works. Am I on the spectrum? All right, I'm done. Bye.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.